Yeah, greetings, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you again.
Okay, cool, man. I had a lot of things running here, man. This internet is crazy in Africa. People don't understand. But I'm just basically piggybacking, trying to contribute some dialogue to the conversation, man, because you touched on so many very interesting points. Everything you're saying is true, but even those of us who declare ourselves conscious, it seemed like we still stuck on the language factor. And I was encouraged by Sister Zena Kraft to join Abibitumi. I've done that, and I'm excited about being able to have access to learning more about what you have to offer, man. It's really an honor to be able to talk to you directly, at least here virtually. But just what you're saying is correct. I heard Sister Juliet, shout out to Juliet. I heard her saying also that what can we do? What's the solution to it? What is the solution? And for me, I think the solution is something that's inherent inside of us, man. It's really, we can easily say unity, but we have to define that unity. And if we're going to choose a term, then we should choose an African term that's going to apply universally to us all. And I think that's a process that our ancestors really put into play generations ago, actually, trying to seize our sovereignty, redefine our humanity for us. And, the struggle continues. That's still what we're doing. I think that something more powerful and more direct is needed at a time like this, where so many of us have returned, so many of us are putting in work on the continent. I'm here in Freetown, Sierra Leone. I've been here almost 8 years. You know what I'm saying? Serving the people, spreading the word of the Exodus, preparing the way, farming, man, just doing so many different things to elevate the environment that I chose to come home to, and also to pave the way for us to come back. And I think that there will be no African liberation if enough of us, not all, if enough of us with the right mind don't return. And so I think that the answer is within that group that will be returning, like ourselves. I think that us being strategically positioned on the continent, um, in different regions of Kemet, as you say, um, we really have to get ourselves together, man. Like even for us to be here on BlaXit channel, you there in Ghana, the sisters there in Gambia, I'm here in Sierra Leone. Like this is what we need to be doing. This is really what we need to be doing. Bringing the minds together, bringing the work together, and really just empowering our platforms and making sure that those coming behind us have a process. They have a rites of passage. That they come back with the right mind state. That they come back with sovereign resources that those of us on the ground have been able to accumulate to assist them coming. And oftentimes, what I'm seeing now is that people are caught up in the how you say the trend of Africa right now. Everyone is caught up. I'm black. I want to go to Africa. I want to go to Ghana. And oftentimes you see people just jumping over the people who's already there, established to welcome them, to receive them. People who've been putting in literally for your family, man, generations of work for the race. You know what I'm saying? Generations, not now. Your ancestors walked with Garvey. It ain't a new thing. And so I really feel like there has to be a collaboration, first of all, between the Africans who are repatriates on the continent, from the diaspora. I think that unity among us has to be one that's universal, not just African Americans, not just Caribbeans, not just those in Europe, but we really got to find a way to unify ourselves as repatriates, as those who are returning to the continent. And at the same time, I think we need to establish order. I think we need to organize ourselves properly. I think that the indigenous brothers and sisters here will take us more serious when we take what we're doing more serious. And a warrior is going to respect a warrior. A chump will never be respected. And so we know that. And I feel like it's too late in the game for us to start reinventing the wheel. We really have to take what we know and bring it all together and try to find that common space where we really can make our best efforts. I know it sounds like blah, 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 but that's really what I see. On top of that, in terms of organizing, man, it's really about those who are on the continent providing the services necessary for those coming. There's a lot of people that ain't gonna come, but they looking to invest. They looking to see how they can help out, see how they can make some money. That's cool. You know, that's one thing. But this educational question that we're talking about, I mean, this African-centered education, this concept of, you know, renaming the continent, you know, keeping it real with the ancestral names and concepts, that's new to most of us, man. You know, just to be quite frank, man, it's very, very new to most of us. Most of our people is being sensationalized by media. You know what I'm saying? And so at some point, they have to have a point of entry where they come into contact with us, you know, and we really got to have a system in place. So I think that there's efforts being made, but I think more efforts need to be made towards us here on the continent, unifying ourselves and coming up with a program, not only for our people coming home, but to address the various states that we occupy, the places where we live, and do it as a sovereign body. We don't need anybody to tell us what our rights are. You know, our rights is in our blood. And at the end of the day, all of this confusion about rights and, you know, citizenship and land and this, man, it's really redundant at this point. You know, we have the resources, we have the education, we have the ability, and the door is wide open. The lack of support for the programs and the initiatives that are already on the continent, paving the way, securing lands, learning the system, you know, impacting the education in Africa, as well as the continent, as well as the diaspora. All these efforts at some point have to come together. And of course, it's nothing new. We're not reinventing the wheel, but I think that we've never been at this point in our history until today. That's what I think. And I think that we need to seize the moment. I don't think that we should really do too much talking about tactics and strategies in public. But I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to develop a code, a way of life that we all can embrace. That person, an African coming from England, can embrace as they repatriate, as they reintegrate, as they re-Africanize, as we say. You know, same thing if somebody coming from Brazil, you know, that's a Portuguese language. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to have a system that really can do what it is that we need to be done. If the African Union ain't working, then like you said, we need to create a league. You know, the UNIA had the African Communities League. You understand? Like, we don't really have to reinvent the wheel at all. We just got to make the institutions that we have more powerful. Not just about making money, but more powerful in presence. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, man, I got to jump on Abibitumi. I've also spread the word about it, try to get other people on. I do use Facebook. I do use WhatsApp, basically for communications. But at the end of the day, what I do appreciate about Abibitumi is that it's our space. You know what I'm saying? It's private, it's personal, it's with family. And it's serious business there. You know, I don't see people there just talking about nonsense. Like you said, Rihanna this, Rihanna that. Nah, I'm able to go there and pay a couple bucks and learn a whole language. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what our people need. And oftentimes, man, you know, we're directing our programs at those who might have the money for it. But I think that it's those who might not have the money for it that actually need it the most and will have the most energy, you know, to bring to the process. The more money people get, the more lazy they get. That's just the reality. I think there's a lot of young Black men and women around the world that are eager for a change, eager for power. And, you know, like in Sierra Leone, 70% of the population is under the age of 35, under the age of 35. You know, the Eurasians, their statistics, they say that this country has the highest infant mortality rate on Earth, also has the highest maternal death rate on Earth, and also one of the lowest life expectancies at 53 years old. They say that, but I see a lot of old people walking around. You understand? And before I got here, man, I thought that I was going to see a whole bunch of people with limbs chopped off. I thought they were still shooting in the streets, man. You know, I was like, yo, from the media, from the westernized media, I thought, man, you know, I got to strap up. It's going to be tough. But what I found was a sense of community and a sense of oneness that I wasn't expecting. And even though the people here have their differences, you know, they got their communal differences, cultural differences, there's always an emphasis to try to communalize it, collectivize it. And while you have the negative elements, you also have the positive elements. And my reception here in Freetown has been, man, it's been unbelievable, man. You know what I'm saying? From the youth to the government to everybody, man, to the market women. We've tried to find a way to make sure that everyone's included. Now, the sister said, Chief Foday Ajamu Mansaray. Yes, I'm a chief, you know, not just because of a title, but because I accepted the responsibility to be a leader in my community. That was bestowed on me. I didn't, you know, when you become a chief, you don't ask for like, yo, how much to become a chief? You know what I'm saying? Yo, where's the test? It's not like that, not traditionally. You know, you really got to show merit. You really got to show principles. You got to show that you're worthy of being a leader, that people will listen to you. And so, you know, from years of work here, man, the people here honored me. They gave me a coronation ceremony among the Mandinka people, which I descend from. And also back in America, the Gullah Geechee people, we've organized our own sovereign community so we can exercise our own autonomy as a group of Gullah Geechees that recognize that we are Africans, we're Black people, you know, and at the end of the day, we have a special connection to West and Central Africa and a very two-way connection to Sierra Leone, being that many of our ancestors returned and founded Freetown and actually birthed the whole Creole community and accepted other people from other parts along the way. But at the end of the day, what I want to say clearly is that we have to keep the momentum up. I know sometimes we always examining the problems, but I think that we're making a lot more headway than what we actually giving ourselves credit for. You know what I'm saying? I think that some of the work that we was doing in the States before we came home, looking over there is coming to fruition. And some of the things that we seen in the whirlwind before it actually arrived is going down right now. And so I think that the people out there who are paying attention, if you tuned in right now, you have to establish a direct relationship with those who have been putting in the work on the continent and back home in the diaspora where we come from, consistently. People who you trust, people who have not forsaken the people who have kept the loyalty going, and try to figure out the best way that you can get involved and support what's going on. Also see clearly how we can support you, because we don't know how we can support you unless we communicate. Communication is everything. And so that takes us all the way back to Abibatumi, which is a very safe place for us to communicate. I must confess, man, thank you very much for even putting that together for us, man. It's been years that I've known about it, and I admit to you, face to face, man, I just was like, okay, one day I'm gonna get on there. You know, one day I'm gonna get on there. And now that I have, it's like, man, what the hell was I waiting for? That was stupid. Mm-hmm. And it's something that's in our brains that says this is something that somebody Black is doing. So it's not that important. Even when you think you're conscious, you gotta check yourself sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You gotta check yourself. Like, yo, how I'm conscious and I ain't even on Abibatumi. How I'm conscious, how I care about Black power. I ain't even there with the family where they on the continent holding it down for us right now, where they've been over here serving us for generations. Why I'm not connected to this? And so I just want to say out there, man, listen, hook up with the real deal, hook up with BlaXit family, Bag family. There's so many separate groups that's coming back, but I believe that we all have the same intentions. And at the end of the day, man, it's just about making sure that this communication continues. For years, man, I've been here, but I really wasn't addressing the public. I really wanted to make sure that I knew what I was going to say when I come to the camera, you know, and really keep that to the minimum. It's not very important to be seen. It's more important to be effective. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how best those of us who are in the different countries in Africa can come together and pull a council together. We need elders. We need council of elders, man. We need a board of education. We need our own board of education on the continent, because many people I talk to are coming back, and the first thing they ask about is education. What about my kids? Where my kids going to go to school at? You know, they want to know how much for land and build a house before they even know how their children going to get educated. And so these is the opportunities right now. You see COVID-19 in America, the kids are sitting at home learning on screen. They learning on internet. That just gives more credibility to the same systems that you've been putting in place for years. It just validates that with or without a COVID-19 or any kind of crisis, we have the capacity to educate ourselves at home, utilizing technology. And so the only big difference right now that I see is that we have more information, more knowledge, we have more people, we have more money, and we're just not meeting our mark. And the only way we're going to meet our mark is by unifying. And so I'm looking very forward to seeing how best the organizations that I represent can be a part of the greater whole. Right now, we have the Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone, which is a nonprofit company. We're involved in agriculture. We're involved in sanitation. We're involved in a lot of things. You understand? But at the same time, we have the Black Star Action Network International. As you see the bandera behind me. It's all red, black, green over here, man. That's what we representing. You know, we tell the people out there here in Sierra Leone, if they don't know, we make sure they learn what it's about. We've done music around it. We've recruited youth around it. And so there's the Black Star Action Network International, which is an international organization that I created in 2009. Since then, man, we've grown. We have members in Israel, Zimbabwe, California, Louisiana, all around the world, actually. We have a membership that's spread around the world. And what we're actually doing is coordinating development. We want to be able to know how best we can coordinate development. At the end of the day, if we're talking about education, education has to be for development. If we're talking about spirituality, it has to be a spirituality that will develop us as a people. It can't just be a spirituality that makes us feel good, that we can dress up and look good and burn some incense and some sage. No, this thing got to be real. This is the revolution. It might not be televised, but we YouTube it right now. And so when we understand that shit right there, man, it's like, man, it's nothing else to do but, you know, separate the cowards from the warriors and keep pushing. I mean, at the end of the day, at some point, Nat Turner had to say, hey, cowards, stay behind. Warriors, let's go. Then Mark Vesey had to do it too, till they snitched on him. So it's the same thing, man. It's just us going through the same process of self-realization that will lead to the ultimate culmination of African liberation, Abiba Foday. You understand? That's where we're headed. That's where we are. And it's like, we will be betraying not only our ancestry, but our descendants at this moment. If we don't get dead serious, man, if we don't hit them ancestral shrines, you know, we don't get that energy and cultivate that spirit that we need to be fearless, we're going to lose out. And it's going to take another 100 years. We're going to be looking back like, yo, we missed. We missed, man. One of the reasons why I came to Africa, man, was because I was deeply involved in the work, in America, but it wasn't enough for me, man. It didn't satisfy me. I felt like a whale in a fishbowl. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, I always tell people, man, when you genuinely trying to bridge the gap and have a connection to the source so that you can draw inspiration from it and inspire other people, in America, you're just too damn far away. For me, for my liking, I'm too far away, man. It's like if I see an enemy and I want to shoot him down, but he's too far away, he's out of my range. You understand? I had to get closer to the continent to where the source of the oppression begins. Get down to the people who are allowing their diamonds to be taken. Get down to the villages that actually need food now and get a proper understanding of what's going on the ground. And then that way, we have the information that we need in order to really be scientific, and be successful. And at the end of the day, man, I don't think that the diaspora alone is going to come in like the saving grace of the whole continent. Those on the continent have a responsibility. They have the first responsibility. And so we really have to open up this dialogue. It got to be serious dialogue between us that's on the continent. And I really believe that those who are not here yet need to empower those who are on the ground so that when we stand before Pharaoh, you understand, here on the continent, yeah, we got some black pharaohs. You know, we got some black people who are brutal oppressors here. And then here we come with all these high ideals about changing the world and freeing Africa, and they're not going to benefit from the free Africa that we envision. The same people that we're going to talk about business contracts, lands, and citizenships, they're not going to benefit in the Africa that we envision. That's the first thing we got to understand. And so I got closer, bro. I got closer so I can get a headshot. I want the headshot. I want to stop the bleeding at the source. You understand? And that's what I came here for, man. I came here to be of service, honestly. And the service has been great. We've been making so many moves that no one has come here to make, man. No one has come here to do these kind of things. Right now, we have a travel agency. If you come into Sierra Leone, you're able to contact us. Our website is up, www.gullaleone.org, Gullah Leone. We have a Gullah Leone Economic Development Cooperative, which is behind the scenes, behind the nonprofit organizing, making small investments to make sure that we can engage in social enterprise so we can fund ourselves. It's very important. If you don't have a strategy to fund yourself, then how the hell you gonna get free on your enemy's dollar? It's not gonna happen. We have to move past the dollar. I had an elder just tell me a few months ago. Well, let me say last year. He passed away a few months ago. The brother who accepted me back when I came and went to the Mandingo people, he accepted me back, man. I looked just like their grandparents, man. I couldn't believe how much I look like these people. It still shakes me sometimes. When I go to the villages, like I've been there, man. Like I was born there or something. The feeling. And it's because they look at me and they're like, yo, you look like family. Like you don't feel like you out of place. You know? And so the brother told me, man, he said, well, we made you a chief today. I said, okay. He said, well, now you got to think more than you talk. He said, because you only get one word when you're a chief. What you say goes. So you got to think more. And I said, okay. He said, another thing. He said, stop thinking about money. He said, we didn't think about money. We thought about how many people we could feed with the food that we produce. We thought about how many cows we had and bartering, how we can trade without having to use the white man's money. They preserve stories of the white man sending agents to buy from their village and taking away the big boys that would carry the loads on their heads, and them boys not coming home. It's engraved in the family history that I never knew, but it was my destiny to come back home with. And so just the whole concept that we're working with coming from the West, we really have to re-embrace new concepts and really ancient concepts. Africa's already had it figured out before they disrupted us. There was no transatlantic slave trade. There was an invasion on Africa. There was an invasion on the motherland. We were captives of warfare. It don't matter who was engaged. There's always been Africans engaged in warfare. The difference is that what has happened to us has been the worst crime against humanity, against any people that has ever happened on the face of this earth. And we are those who have separated ourselves from the pack so we can play our role in redeeming that. I don't think that everyone understands how much tenacity and patience it takes to do this for you guys. I don't think you understand how hard it is to be in Africa, coming from the West, thinking that that's the best, and then finding yourself in paradise and poverty at the same time. It's a serious situation. And so I don't want to keep talking and taking up too much time, but I just wanted to get that off my chest. Sister Julie, I love you. Thank you very much. Another shout out to Sister Zena, man. She hit me up on WhatsApp. Was like, yo, listen.
Yeah,
she was like, yo. you need to get. She said you need to get on. You need to get on right now. You need to be a part of this conversation. I'm always like, who? Me? I'm supposed to be on the conversation. You know, so
I'm gonna do a show hopefully with her. I just realised I spelled Gula without the H, so I'm gonna repost it. And so Gula Leon. .org. Put it on the screen now. So so if anyone wants to get more involved, hang on, there we go. GulaLeon.org. Is that right?
That's it.
Okay, so everyone, if you want to get in touch with Chief Foday, I suggest that you go to GulaLeon. He's also on WhatsApp, and you can also get further information. I actually met him in Sierra Leone, and he's doing a lot of great work. He has a seed project. He has women's organizations. He has done a lot of full work, and also DNA, and he can help you also with your citizenship in Sierra Leone. So I just wanted to say that we talked a lot, but we can actually talk about what you do. So I just wanted to share that. Now I want to cover some other issues. I'm going to bring in another brother who's been waiting patiently, Hamza. I'm going to bring you in now, but thank you, Chief Foday.
Yeah, thank you too. And, I appreciate you.
Press for me as well, and the whole team, and Black Americans, so Chris and everybody.
Many
give
roots,
them
many roots,
and everyone.
One fambo.
One fambo.
That's right. One fambo. Okay. That's right.
One fambo. Okay.
Okay, sis. Talk to you later, right? All right.
Thank you.